country in the world, and it is worth fighting for. It is worth bleeding for, and if it takes it, it's worth dying for the greatest country that this world has ever seen.
Good morning, everybody. What is going on? We got noise coming out of everything here. We don't have a clue where everything is going from.
Golly.
I got 37 remote controls in here. I'm trying to organize this thing. Happy Monday morning, dear America family. I'm glad you guys are here. We are in stereo, baby. All kind of things going on. We got a lot to get into today. Before we do, I just want to remind you guys that be thankful today that you got some common sense. You got some patriotic common sense. Today's American society, I was thinking about this morning. This is where we are sharing space with people that are so coddled by worldly comforts that they have zero clue of the horrors that lie beyond their conditioned safe environments that they live in these days. I mean, they're in the chat rooms, they're in the coffee shops, they're on the PlayStation game rooms, Amazon.com, the nose-pierced baristas, the flag-waving zealots in the street, the people gluing their hands to the floor, paint-throwing protesters, purple-haired screaming memes, the online troll, the basement dweller, the Subaru-driving self-oppressed victim of so-called privilege telling you how bad the world is while being interviewed from the parking lot of the Whole Foods. We're living in a day in which alpha male decision-makers are considered bullies. Bold action and bravado is mistaken for bullying and all the other stuff that boils down to another thing that starts with bull. Listen, sit down, kids. The folks that put facts over feelings are back in charge. America was not built by the will of weaklings, and it won't be made great again by lackluster leaders debating bathroom policies. America is back, baby. Let me put those American flags in the chat. Let me see you blow it up. I want a Monday morning full of patriotism and fired up. My name is Chad Prather. Graham Allen. We will tell you where he is in a moment, but he's not here. Before we go any further, let me remind you guys that you have nothing to fear because producer Royce is here. Royce Chamberlain, everybody, put your hands together.
What's up?
Chad, you cannot convince me that you don't have a teleprompter and that wasn't pre-written.
Dude, I know how to.
There's no possible way because that was a little too good, Chad. I'm gonna clip that. That's gonna be a little thing.
I don't know if you guys have ever paid attention to what I do, but I put my camera phone on the dashboard of the truck and started talking to this thing. I made a whole career out of the dadgum thing.
Dude, Tucker Carlson couldn't have done that better with a teleprompter.
Well, you know the difference between me and Tucker Carlson is the exposure. All right, that's the bottom line.
I like it.
Exposure.
I like it.
If I could just be discovered, that and I don't know. He has hair. All right, the guy who's sitting quietly in the corner. You hear that esoteric disembodied voice out there. He hasn't been introduced yet. So let's go to the quiet guy sitting in the corner. He is legal citizen Tony.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, that was really good, man. Made me think of a lot of clips I saw during this weekend where protesters were sitting in the street, and I think it was in England where this old man just had enough and he just ran right through them.
Just a speed bump.
Took people with him. Yep, it was a speed bump. Yep.
Jeez. Well, we saw the protesters that were out in the street in Dallas yesterday losing their minds with their flags up. I mean, they're just telling you where to deport them to. So, anyway, Mexican Tony is here, and of course, everybody's favorite redneck. He is he's out there talking to himself. I can even hear him humming in my ear every now and then. Y'all put your hands together for Hot Seat Todd. Todd Spears, everybody.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't help myself. Like, you literally went on probably one of the most epic intros I've ever heard, and I just found myself humming Amazing Grace. Like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I started like putting my hand on my heart. I didn't know.
I'm sitting there going.
I was like hand on heart saluting at the same time. I didn't know what to do.
You guys are funny.
Couldn't help it.
I've been ranting for a long time. So has Graham, and that's the beautiful thing about what we do. Let's talk about some things, boys. First of all, keep blowing the chat up with those American flags. Our heart goes out, and our deepest sympathy and condolences go to Graham and Alyssa. Graham Allen's his grandmother, Ma, passed away yesterday. Bless her. I know they'd been having some issues, and Todd and Tony, you guys can certainly speak to this better than I can. But we are desperately praying for deep sympathies for Graham and for Alyssa and the kids and the rest of the family out there in Mississippi. So let me see those prayer hands in the chat. And as always, don't just put the emoji out there. Actually pray. So
yes, absolutely. I've known Miss Newberry all my life. Her and Mr. Jack, Paul and Ma, I've known them my whole life. Graham basically lost a parent last night. To put it in perspective, Ma was the one that basically her and Paul raised him. Just amazing woman. Can't say that enough. Had a past. She was pretty up in the government. Worked for one of them 3-letter organizations. And I remember spending so many days and afternoons with her, kind of just poking at her, trying to get as much information out of her as I could. And one day, honestly, she just looked at me. She said, "Todd, if I told you everything I knew, somebody'd kill you." And I said, "Fair enough, Ma. Thank you."
Isn't that crazy?
It is. Like, you got this.
People will go to. I mean, they will go their whole life without saying one
and
single
you
thing.
Looking at this woman, you would have never guessed it, because she was like your atypical little grandmother, sweet, kind. And then you look over on the shelf, and she's got pictures of her next to presidents and like Reagan and all these presidents. You're like, wait, what? And it was pretty awesome. But Ma is with Paul right now up in heaven, looking down on us, basically looking at us saying we better do a good job. So prayers to Graham, buddy. If you hear this, you know we love you. All prayers to you.
I never met her, but may she rest in peace. But I mean, Graham and I being the only ones here in the studio, because everybody works remotely except him and I. He referenced her many times about how her and Paul raised him and the lessons he learned, and it was I'm sure Graham's heart is just broken with everything going on, and you know we're keeping him and the whole family in our prayers, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah. So
God bless you, brother. God bless you. And so there's a lot of stuff going on, man. And I'll tell you, but you know what? As I alluded to in the very beginning of the deal, we are living in a day and age, man, where leadership is back, and people may not like it. They may not like the method of the leadership. And people are offended by decision makers. It's weird to me, like they feel bullied by decision makers. But let's take a look at Donald Trump's approval ratings, first of all. I mean, these approval ratings are pretty impressive.
I think we should jump into the first ad really quick.
Let's do the ad.
Fine.
We've got fine lines. We've got to stay in between for these ads.
Royce is such a buzzkill.
You act like that we get money off of doing any of this stuff. That's crazy.
You're right. Never mind. I guess we don't have to do it.
What? Let's just do one.
Just let the lights turn off, I guess.
Let's do one for free. Gosh. Hey, I want to remind you guys about the Wellness Company. The Wellness Company, twc.health/Graham. Make sure that you can go to your kitchen cabinet or your medicine cabinet in the middle of the night when you start to get the sniffles or the fevers, or you just know something's wrong. Get your basic antibiotics and your prescriptions that are ready to use at any given time. You don't have to go stand in the Walgreens. Make sure that you got the stuff you need, whether it's ivermectin or it is your amoxicillins or your generic Z-Packs, whatever it may be. Be prepared, guys. Be ready to go. You got your travel emergency kit, your first aid emergency kit, your radiation kit, your contagion kit, your field kit, your kids kit. Just make sure that you get over there and get the stuff you need that fits your family. If you will use promo code GRAHAM, GRAHAM, you will get you'll get a discount off of it, and you'll get free shipping as well. So code GRAHAM, go to twc.health/Graham. Be prepared, not scared. The Wellness Company, check them out. All right, now let's go to those approval ratings.
Approval ratings, here we go.
Approval ratings.
Let's do it. I love to see it. This is pretty exciting stuff to me. So apparently this his approval ratings are higher than he's ever had. And again, if you look at the leftist progressive Riri's over on X, they're going to tell you right now that he hadn't lowered the price of eggs. Oh my gosh, gross! I mean, he's been in office for 7 days, and I mean, we don't have, our interest rates haven't come down, and blah blah blah. But the approval ratings, the people with common sense, the people like our dear America family, they know different. Play the clip.
This is a very different Donald Trump. He's leading a very different administration in the way he's attacking things, and the American public is very much more in line with him than they were at any point during his entire first term.
Well, I would say correction.
Well,
this is not a very
correction.
different Donald Trump. This is a very different Donald Trump as being viewed by voters in this.
In the
moment
way he's going about things, with Susan Wiles leading things, I think he is, going at things in a much less disorganized fashion, much more organized.
Take me back in history.
Take you back in history. So it was so interesting to me that Donald Trump's first net approval rating of his second term is higher than his entire first term. And I was interested, has that ever happened? Has the second term net approval rating in the first month, have you ever had a higher rating than any net approval rating during the entire first term? Donald Trump is the only...
I have a really hard time believing this.
This is 100% true. I went back. I love spreadsheets. Donald Trump is the first guy ever whose net approval rating in the first month of his second term is higher than any rating that he had as an entire first term.
Man, that is the body language of a pissed off chick right there. The numbers are the numbers.
Except when you
It's as if he won the popular vote with 76 million votes. It's as if that happened. It's unbelievable.
So this whole thing, and I think we're going to start seeing more and more of this, and we're going to talk about this, even more examples of this in the show. You're going to start seeing a lot of these talking heads, particularly of the female persuasion, that are going to show you the body language, show you the smirks, show you the confused faces, because they've spent all these years putting their feelings over the facts. Now they don't know how to deal with the facts. Mm-hmm. And this is a perfect example of that.
It's becoming that meme with the two ladies screaming, and then the cat on the other end of the kitchen table. But instead of the
100%.
Instead of the cat, it's Donald Trump. They're just yelling because
they can't deal with it. Like, don't get me wrong, fingers crossed, because obviously the only legs they have to stand on right now, and why they're picking these legs, whether it be Harry Sisson and eggs or some other jackass talking about 27% of coffee comes from Colombia and you won't be able to get roses. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, easy fix. I just, I won't eat eggs for a while. I'll buy the other 73% of coffee that's somewhere else. And I mean, they sell rose seed at the co-op every day if I really want roses. What's the big deal?
The other thing that they're bickering about is this Ukraine war thing that he didn't have done in 24 hours. Should we remind them that Biden didn't have it done in years? Yeah. It's been a year or two that nothing was done, and we've just been shoveling money towards them and not helping the situation.
Yeah, and speaking of the Ukraine stuff, he didn't say he was going to. I mean, he's cut off the funding. The funding is gone. So I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just being a jackass here, but I don't care if Russia and Ukraine keep fighting as long as we're not spending money on it.
Well,
let him do it.
My thing there is when people ask me about that, I say, okay, show me what's happening in Ukraine right now. You tell me.
Yeah.
I don't see a whole lot of footage of war coming out
nothing.
right now. So apparently some things have slowed down. Tony, this is the deal right here. This is a perfect example. I want to remind everybody, this was CNN. The left simply can't keep up anymore. The media can't keep up. They've been on a Biden staycation for the last 4 years where they put a lid on the day at 4 in the afternoon and the guy didn't get started till 11 a.m. Tony, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, with these people, I mean, are we just going to at some point see an ultimate meltdown in the media where these people just lose it? Because I love what it says, like President Trump's done something no president's ever done.
Well, I think we're seeing it live on TV right now. And can I just say, I'm not taking away anything from what Donald Trump is doing. His approval rating is so high because he's actually putting in the work. He's doing the work. I think if it wasn't Donald Trump in there, I think a deaf, blind monkey could have gone in there and done better than Biden. I mean, honestly, look at it. He was doing absolutely nothing the last year of his presidency. I mean, not even that. 2 years before his presidency, he couldn't get anything done. And you had us on our side over here trying to get all our patriots to come out and say, come on, we need change. We need to do something, because you saw it with the popular vote. As Royce just said, people got fed up with it, and he got the popular vote because we need change. And that's what happened.
Yeah, and can I just ask you a question, like all of you here with me and you in the chat? What's more important, men, that your wives can walk down the street, now without being, harassed, raped, possibly murdered by illegals that are here, that are being sucked out of this country every day? Or how much, or oh my God, you can't get them roses on Valentine's Day. Go buy tulips, you turd.
Like, I saw someone in the chat say, grow your own roses and buy a couple chickens. Yes, I'd rather have my own chickens anyway.
Yeah, literally what I just said.
Have a pen full of feeder rabbits and some chickens, and you know what? Grow your own eggs. It's amazing how that works. It's almost like going back to doing things for yourself. But again, people have been coddled held for so dadgum long. And you know who we're going to see the bigger meltdowns on is these rhino, spineless, gutless Republicans out there. Your Mitch McConnells, your Susan Collins, your Lisa Murkowski's, Lindsey Graham. I want you guys to this ought to piss everybody off. There's some acronyms I'd like to put here, but Lindsey Graham's got to go. Because he goes on and he says that Trump's pardons of the J6 rioters who assaulted police officers, and these are their words, not mine, will likely encourage more violence because it seems to suggest that it's an okay thing to do. This is South Carolina's Lindsey Graham. Can we play the clip?
Yeah, but first let's blow up the chat with Graham sucks. Okay, I want Graham to be able to hop on the stream.
That works.
I want Graham to hop on the stream and be confused. Okay.
LGS. Let's do that. LGS. Lindsey Graham sucks. LGS. There's so many acronyms we could throw on here, but again, we'll get that phone call from on high.
Speaking of liberal women who are mad, what is going on here?
That's
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's Legion trying to come out right there is what that is.
It's a manifestation.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go.
Do you believe that President Trump was wrong to issue these blanket pardons to the January 6th
Number one,
defendants?
he had the legal authority to do it, but I fear that you will get more violence. Pardoning the people who went into the Capitol and beat up a police officer violently, I think was a mistake because it seems to suggest that's an okay thing to do.
Do you believe
There's so many things I want to say here. I mean, listen, we don't have to unpack the events of January 6th, but when you're tossing stun grenades and flashbangs into a crowd of people, when you already, and it's been proven, and you're going to see more and more of this is going to come out because they're going to investigate this stuff. Mike Johnson's already said they're going to look into some of these things. Is when you have people that are out there and you have infiltrators that are in there, some of which they have now proven actually went into the Capitol building too. Jim Jordan yesterday was talking. He said, did they go in? He was with Mark Levin. He said, did they go in first? Did they lead the way? Did they push people in? We don't know. So to sit there and say, well, you just violently beat up a cop. And let me just say something, Lindsey. How much more punishment do these people need? I mean, they have they have had pre-trial detentions, which is something that's never happened in Washington, D.C. prior to January 6th for years and years. They've been bankrupted. Their lives have been ruined. Their besmirched reputations, just trying to recover. People have lost their lives, committed suicide. All kind of things have happened. And then you're going to put them in prison for what? For years and years and years and years? And they've already been there for however long, for 4 years, many of them. How much more punishment do these people need?
Yeah, I'm not conceding or listening to any rhino or Democrat when it comes to civilians laying hands on police. You had Chaz in Seattle where they literally took over a whole precinct. You had Minnesota where they were burning down freaking auto zones and Radio Shacks and crap like that. Let's not talk about Baltimore. They burnt half that city to the ground. And what about the illegals that were caught on tape beating the hell out of an NYPD officer, and then they're released and they just throw the middle finger to the cameras like they don't care. So they don't care about the Capitol Police. They don't. So shut the hell up. Stop spewing it.
It really is unbelievable with all the BLM riots, the burning down of churches in front of the White House, and all these different things, BLM painted on the streets, robbing, looting, all this stuff. It's unbelievable with all that happening. The Democrat Party, liberals, have decided to highlight January 6th. I mean, it's not unbelievable. It's actually predictable. But this orchestrated walk through the Capitol, they've decided to imprison all these people, and they don't talk about the BLM riots.
Yeah, not to mention...
They are fascinated with this, and now they're saying liberal Lindsey Graham, should be liberal, is saying that, now that they're being released, it's going to incite more violence. Who caused more violence? Was it January 6th or the BLM riots?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that there's a pretty clear answer to that. And it
And
wasn't
not to
January
mention,
6th.
let's not forget the jackasses that went to the Capitol and were like shoving the White House fence and spray painting monuments and putting Palestinian flags on Washington. And let's not forget about that. They were throwing smoke grenades over the fence and at the White House, and you had Secret Service just sitting there looking at them. Shut up! I don't want to hear it.
I have personal experience of Secret Service ignoring.
Oh, you did?
I was in San Francisco, standing outside of Nancy Pelosi's house. We had walked away to go film something, and there's Secret Service right in front of our car, and our car was robbed. backpack stolen. Secret Service was right there. They didn't do nothing. They watched it happen. They probably gave the dude advice on how to get in the car. I don't know. But they just stood aside. They let it happen, just like they let it happen and curated it on January 6th because it was part of the plan. So they could do crap like this and be like, well, look what Donald Trump's MAGA supporters did. So that way we could look away from the BLM and all the different looting and the illegals that are flooding our country. You know, there's a lot of this stuff that I think was more orchestrated than we even think right now. Than we're talking
100%.
We talk about how January 6th was set up and all this stuff, but I really think it all kind of has this master plan. Yes, there's plenty of dumb liberals and dumb Democrat, senators and congressmen and all this stuff, but there is a group that are very smart. Although they wouldn't have been able to get away with a lot of stuff that they got away with. But there is a group of Democrat liberals that are very smart, and they are curating and orchestrating all of this. And this was their plan all along. This was their plan. I fully believe that.
I was going to say, Todd, we need to start a petition to get rid of Lindsey Graham's R on there and just put a little question mark. Because he's definitely a
100%
politician for hire. I've only lived in South Carolina for 2.5 years, and anything I hear from people around here about Lindsey Graham, I mean, I don't know how long has he been a
Too long.
senator in South Carolina? Anybody
Since
know?
the Lord was walking the earth?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, anyways, anything I hear from people, they absolutely despise this guy. Like, I've never seen so much hate towards a Republican politician in my life in such a Republican state. Like everybody hates him.
That keeps getting reelected.
And to Chad's point when he's talking about serving their time, and I looked this up according to the federal code. Do you guys have any idea what the charge of simple assault against a federal officer carries? Do you have any idea? It's a year in prison and $100,000 fine.
Didn't Trump just sign the death penalty to anybody who kills a police officer or something like that?
I don't know, but I mean, I think personally they spent 3 years more in prison than all of them should have.
Yeah, I agree. And so, I mean, especially as the details have come out. I mean, you got little old ladies with their selfie sticks walking through there, and now you're going to put them in solitary confinement for 3 years. It's ridiculous. All right, and this is the thing. This is the kind of stuff right here. This is the rhetoric that's making Trump's approval ratings go up. It's at least causing the buzz. It's getting the pot stirred up, if you will. This is what Trump had to say once again about no taxes. We're going to pay no taxes.
No taxes.
And this sparks a huge debate, the difference between taxes and tariffs. And I think a lot of people maybe don't know how to engage in this debate. But play this clip and let's see what Trump had to say.
She said no tax on it. How about just no tax?
Yeah, baby. Please. Please.
You could do that. You know, if the tariffs work out like I think, a thing like that could happen if you want to know the truth. You know,
If you want to know the truth.
years ago, 1870 to 1913, we didn't have an income tax. What we had is tariffs, where foreign countries came in and they stole our jobs, they stole our companies, they stole our product, they ripped us off. And, they used to do numbers, and then we went to a tariff system, and the tariff system made so much money. It was when we were the richest from 1870 to 1913. Then we brilliantly came in with an income tax. No, we don't want others to pay. Let's have our people pay. And then you had the Depression in 1928, 1929. I call it 1929. That was a bad time, but you didn't have tariffs, and you had tariffs that ended in 1913. But it was the richest our country ever was. That was President McKinley. In fact, we're renaming the mountain McKinley. Alaska.
He's so funny how he chases rabbits, dude. I love it. But the folks on the left, if you jump on X and you watch this clip and you see underneath, everybody's going to say, oh, it's going to cause massive inflation and job loss because with the tariffs, the people who are producing these goods are going to increase the prices, and you're going to end up paying more in tariffs, or it's going to cost more for the product because of the cost of the tariffs. Listen, I do believe that Trump knows exactly what he's talking about, because historically this has worked. And not only that, and there are going to be people who say, well, historically it didn't work. But you got to understand there's a lot of things that need to be put back in place. Like, for instance, in wartime, when let's say we loaned Ukraine $200 billion. It was a loan. They were expected to pay it back. Like World War II, when we gave money to other countries, they were expected to pay it back. These days, we're just writing a blank check to everybody.
Period.
And so when you have all of these things holding hands with each other, I mean, you're going to have a $37 trillion debt. And I want to say to everybody out there that wants to say, oh, we got to keep paying the taxes. We got to keep paying the taxes. Obviously, it ain't working if you're $37 trillion in debt. Something's got to be overhauled here. I mean, we can't just keep printing cash.
It don't work that way. Yeah, it definitely doesn't work that way.
I would love to get somebody on the left, and to Chad's point right now, say, I want to ask each one of you, do you guys have the money in your bank account to just write a blank check and say, here you go, use it for whatever you want, and I'll take care of whatever comes your way? So, I mean, it's just ridiculous that they just keep on keeping on, thinking that we could just keep on printing money, and it doesn't work that way.
But, I mean, you want to sit there and keep paying taxes. People say, well, I mean, first of all, taxation's theft, all right? And the IRS, that ain't constitutional. And to have 88,000 people who are going to come out there and use these Gestapo tactics to try to take all your money away and investigate you because you didn't, cross the right T or dot the right I is insane. That is not freedom. That's not American. It's not the principles of freedom, life, liberty, property. They're going to come and take care and tax you left and right on everything that you do. It's ridiculous. There's got to be a better way, and there is a better way. There's a business way of doing this thing. But we've run our country with this idea that we can just keep printing cash. The Fed's going to be in charge. Deficits and debts are okay. Modern monetary theory. It's nonsense, guys. This whole deal is just goofy to keep thinking that we can keep doing this kind of stuff and then say, oh, well, if we could just get billionaires to pay their fair share. If you had every billionaire in America and you took 100% of their money, you could run the federal government for almost 90 days.
Yeah. Exactly.
Almost 90 days.
That's the same argument I have with my family because I am the most conservative one in my family. My family is minority. A lot of them are very liberal. My number one argument to them is I want a president who is business-minded, who is a businessman that will hold everybody accountable for their dollars and cents and know where our spending is going instead of just writing blank checks to people. We just can't keep running our country like that because the money's not there. We're going to run out of money. It's just we can't keep funding other countries.
You're right, Tony. And let me ask you. Let me ask the audience a question. And I'd love to see some either American flags or America First in the chat, just blowing the thing up. But let me ask the audience a question. If you're going to start a business and you really want to start a big business, are you going to seek the advice of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Yeah, exactly. And to the point, like Donald Trump was asked, I want to say it was yesterday or the day before, because they were pissed off that he gave this like massive bunker busting bomb or a couple of them to Israel. And he's like, why did you do that? And he said, they bought and paid for it. That I don't have a problem with. Listen, I do not have a problem with America sending troops or sending weapons or things, sending them anywhere. As long as you pay for them. This is not a donation. This is not the Salvation Army. I'm sorry. This ain't that, okay? This is what this is. It costs us this much money to make it, and this is how much we're charging you for it. Like, sorry. Yeah. You need 10,000 soldiers? Fine. This is how much it's going to cost us to train them, to feed them, to uniform them, and their equipment and send them over there. Well, this is how much it's going to cost you per month for them. You can't afford it? Well, guess what? Good luck.
Yeah.
It's a business.
And speaking of those agents, here's what Trump had to say about those 88,000, whatever, IRS agents. He had a great idea for them. Here you go.
On day one, I immediately halted the hiring of any new IRS agents. They hired or tried to hire 88,000 new workers to go after you, and we're in the process of developing a plan to either terminate all of them or maybe we'll move them to the border.
That ain't gonna happen.
I think we're gonna move them to the border.
Sorry.
On day one, I immediately...
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Milton and his red spring line stapler ain't going to the border. I'm sorry. That's not happening. Let's just go ahead and get that one out the way right now.
I mean, if you want to go down there counting beans, man, I tell you what, that's where you need to be down there running the abacus.
For real.
Let's figure out who's coming in here. So, Trump, you gotta look through. You gotta have a sense of humor first of all to decipher Trump, and I appreciate that because I mean this guy's hilarious. But again, through it all, I think he's got the right idea. That's why his approval ratings go through the roof. And then of course you got J.D. Vance. Pop the meme up there.
Oh, I mean, he's so good.
Can you?
So good.
I mean, this whole thing. I mean, J.D. Vance is just owning these people. I mean, across the board. You want to play that clip real quick there, Royce? I mean, this just became an instant meme right here. Let her rip.
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals have been properly vetted.
But there are 30,000 people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people
it's
are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
I don't really care, Margaret.
Listen, don't get me wrong. That last sentence, the last sentence was the mic drop moment. But can we just say for a minute the most important thing that JD Vance said in that entire little conversation there is, I don't want my kids to do it. Therefore, I'm not going to make the American people and their kids do it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is leadership. That is true blue, bona fide American patriotism leadership right there.
You got skin in the game. You got skin in the game. And I think, like, this is a perfect time to be able to promote a T-shirt. I think the Margaret would be
I don't care,
perfect
Margaret.
I don't care, Margaret. Like, that could be a Let's Go Brandon kind of moment.
I'm actually I'm just now finding out that was an edited version. This is the real version. Let's watch it. 1 second. Let's just.
I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
Yeah, that was the real version. That happened live.
Yes.
For those of you listening by way of audio, that was a beautiful filter
just missed
on
it.
JD's.
You just missed it.
The laser eyes that pierced right through Margaret's soul. I don't really care, Margaret.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a dang.
This is the type of toxic masculinity that everybody's been threatened by. This is the decisive action. We're going to tell you the truth. Screw the political correctness. It's straight out of the pits of hell. We're going to tell you the absolute abject truth. This is the same ideology right here that you say, oh, he's so mean-spirited. But he's just saying out loud how you live your life. How you live your life. And I don't care if you're Martha's Vineyard, with your big straw hat on baking cookies for the illegals that got bused to your community for 24 hours and you acted like, you adopted a pet that you put out to a foster home. I mean, these people out there waving, oh my God, we loved them so much. No, you got rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't let them stick around.
That is the problem with the left, that instead of seeing the actual problem, they allowed an unvetted person to commit a terrorist act in Oklahoma. Instead of saying, oh my, we screwed up, they're looking for an excuse to say, well, he wasn't properly vetted. Nobody gives a flying F. The guy came in here and they did something wrong, admit you did something wrong, and say, let's try to fix it. I mean, it's as simple as that.
I'm looking for those flying Fs. They're everywhere.
Hey, where they at? There's
everywhere.
one.
I mean, seriously.
There's one.
I know the hardest thing is to say we're wrong and I'm sorry. Let's try to fix it. I mean, it's just human nature that we cannot just say, especially for men. You know how we are. I mean, our wife calls us out or our girlfriend calls us out, and we're like, "Oh, sorry, baby, that was me. I was wrong." I do it all the time, but it is tough to say I'm sorry. But a lot of times, I mean, just say you're sorry and move on and try to fix the problem.
Let's move on to Birch Gold. What do you say, Chad?
The conscience has spoken.
I don't give a flying F.
The conscience has spoken.
I love it.
Hey, I want to remind you guys to text the word Graham, Graham, to 989898. Check out the folks over at birchgold.com. Let me tell you something about Birch Gold. They understand. I go over, I read the articles at birchgold.com. I follow them on X. They have incredible articles that are written from a fair perspective about what's truly going on in our economy. They know the real deal, but they also understand what real value is too. And they know that having your IRA or your 401k, your retirement secured and backed up by real precious metals such as gold is the most valuable thing you can do, not only for your security, but for the future of your family. So make sure that you head over to Birch Gold and text them Graham at 989898. They will send you a free, no obligation information kit that will help you understand how you can diversify that retirement plan that's sitting there accruing nothing, sitting there on the precipice of danger and chaos, how they can diversify your retirement plan and secure it with gold. So text Graham. Do that for us, please. Let them know we're alive on a Monday and the Dear America show and the Dear America family is active. Text Graham to 989898. Do that today. Take care of yourself. All right. We had some confirmations, boys. We did. Some confirmations.
Yes, we did.
Todd, before we started the program today, you said, did we really think it was going to be hard to get Kristi Noem confirmed? I think in light of everything else that was going on,
it looked like a layup.
She might have been an easier pick on this. I mean, all you got to do is look at the job she's done as the governor of South Dakota. She is a force to be reckoned with. She's unapologetic, and I appreciate that. So, Tony, give me your thoughts on Kristi Noem. Did you think it was going to be a hard one?
I think, when Graham said last week or the week before, I guess it was last week, he said that as soon as Pete gets confirmed, I think it's going to be a domino effect where they're going to let everybody else come in. And I didn't really think she was going to have a problem. A lot of the stuff that she's done, his whole team is just all war fighters, all patriots that are coming in. So no, I wasn't nervous about her. I was more nervous about Pete getting confirmed. But like Graham said, as soon as he fell, all the dominoes are going to fall. So.
I honest to God thought, because this is how retarded the left is, I really thought that dog was going to be a problem.
Well, you know what?
I really thought that dog was going to be a problem.
It's amazing how many people commented and say, you know what, I'm glad she got confirmed, but I'll never forgive her for the dog.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my God. Like,
and why she did that, I actually talked to her, just kind of, I talked to her a little bit after that, and I was like, what were you thinking in putting that in the book?
For real. Like,
that was almost a career ender. I mean, anybody that's ever lived on a ranch, grown up on a ranch, you understand
it.
You understand the perspective that she was coming from, but you don't put all that in a book.
Yeah, there's an old redneck saying. Well, there's an old redneck saying that dog won't hunt. That explains what happened. That dog won't hunt.
I love that about her, though. I mean, that the honesty to put that in the book to show that is real life.
Real life.
Obviously, if anybody who has children and there's a wild dog going around, you're gonna put yourself between yourself and the dog there. So all she did was put that dog out of its misery because it was a dangerous animal, and she put it down. I would have done the same thing. I don't care what anybody would have said.
Kind of masculine, actually.
I love Kristi. I think she's solid. I mean, she grew up on a ranch. She knows her stuff. She still has a ranch. I mean, she's been great for South Dakota. I think she's going to be great for this country as well. All right, let's talk about Pete. Everybody put Pete in the chat. Pete, blow it up. Pete. I was just over here. I was looking at my monitor over here, and they were interviewing Pete as he was heading into the office this morning. This guy's going to be. They're going to wear him out. I mean, they are just going to do everything they can, and they're going to continue to scrutinize him. But you know what I've seen, guys, since this confirmation? I've seen a lot of videos posted on social media by military members or veterans.
Yes,
this
sir.
has been an immediate lift in morale. He is a war fighter that is making war fighters great again. This is not about bureaucracy. This is about making sure that the fighters are put first, man. Todd, you got a better perspective on this than me.
Yeah,
man. You got to feel good about this.
I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people that are veterans that got out, that didn't retire, that messages that I've received, and it's a lot. Yeah. I'm getting back in, dude. I talked to a guy from the that was in the Navy, that just that just got back in the Navy after a 5-year hiatus. He's like, yeah, dude, I joined the Navy. I got back in the Navy yesterday. Yeah. And I mean, that is just the consensus here. And the the folks that are still in right now, they love this. Like, Stop with the politics. Make us lethal again. Let us do our job. Let us do what you trained us to do, and stop all the CRT, the trans crap, and all the pride junk. Just let us put on the uniform and just be a soldier again. Like, that is the consensus.
And this right here, this is his acceptance speech right here. Just the first phrase right out of his mouth. I mean, this triggers the lefty libs. I mean, this brings the tears. CLC, cry libs, cry. CLC in the chat, because here come the tears. Play the clip, Royce.
All praise and glory to God.
What? What?
His will be done, and we're grateful to be here.
Wow.
And as I said in my hearing, it was Jesus and Jenny.
Yes.
I would not be here without you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I want to thank the President of the United States, our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump. We could not have a better Commander-in-Chief than him. It is the honor of a lifetime, sir, to serve under you. We look forward to having the backs of our troops and having your back in executing peace through strength, in putting America first, and in rebuilding our military. Mr. Vice President, thank you for breaking the tie. It's not the last time, or not the first time, the headline reads, Junior Enlisted Marine bails out Junior Army Officer.
Love it. Love it.
And, you know, some people were saying, well, 50-50, that's too tight. And Senator Mark Wayne Mullen was nice enough to take my kids up to the gallery to watch the actual moment that the Vice President sealed the deal. And they came running in. They said, Dad, instead of being sad about 50-50, 51-50, they said, Dad, you won in overtime. That's the perspective I like. So thank you.
Isn't it great having people put back in a position of authority that can communicate?
Yes,
yeah.
100%.
Without the bureaucratic, and then is unapologetic. And immediately through this little note out there, no more DEI at the Pentagon. I love this. I love what he says here. I mean, he's just like, listen, no exceptions, no name changes, no delays. Because, again, the name changes thing, that's what they want to do. They want to call it HR. Now it's human resources.
Yep.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. These do not comply. They will no longer work here. SecDef 29. Come on.
And how pumped are you if you're currently in a uniform in the chat right now? How pumped are you that if you retire in the next 4 years, that Donald J. Trump is going to be on your retirement certificate instead of Kamala Harris? Holy crap! Like
cackling Kamala taking care of all that. But again, you know, we saw what happened. We got Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell doesn't even know he's on the planet. I mean, these guys are liberals. I mean, at this stage in the game, these guys are liberals. We saw what Mitch McConnell, the reason he mentions the vice president having to be the tiebreaker here, the reason J.D. Vance has to step in is because these old turtle heads like Mitch McConnell, Glitch Mitch, it went against him. And Mitch McConnell, of course, had his reasons on why. They asked him the whole deal. He says, well, I put out a statement. The thing I want to remind everybody about Mitch McConnell is he's the chairman of the Defense Appropriations Committee. So until he's gone, he's going to be a burr in the saddle for a guy like Pete Hegseth for a long time. Now, I don't know how long, because I don't know the guy's got his toe knuckles on the precipice of eternity and can see dead people already.
Yeah, he does. Yep. That's a fact.
So I don't know how much longer the guy's actually going to be on this mortal coil. But as long as he's there, he's going to be problematic on that. But Rick Scott called him out, and I thought that was great. Rick Scott said Mitch McConnell doesn't support Donald Trump. He doesn't support an American first agenda. He never has. It's why I ran against him for leader, and I'll continue to fight for President Trump and his agenda. The American people voted for these confirmations.
Yep. My turn. All right, throw up my disclaimer. All right, for the chat.
Please wait.
I'll wait. All
right, now you can go.
All right, everybody in the chat right now, forget Mitch McConnell. FMM. Forget Mitch McConnell.
Forget
Mitch McConnell.
Forgets. Where are those flying forgets?
Give me some flying forgets, baby.
I'm just going to leave this on loop for a little while.
Can we just FMM? Can we just FMM for a little while?
FMM, forget Mitch McConnell.
Mitch is glitching, and there they go right there.
There it is,
There's always
baby.
some people that want to spell it out.
Don't you dare spell it out, Chad.
I said forget. I said forget. I
You
said
can
forget.
spell out forget, please. Please, Lord.
Literally no one has chosen to spell out forget. I can tell you that. They are hooked on phonics right here in the Dear America fan
You're
club.
welcome. You're welcome.
Mitch is glitching, baby. You know what? These guys have got to go. I mean, these people, they have got to go. They got to get out of the way. They're going to be a cog in the system the entire time because look at this guy. I mean, look at this guy. How? I mean, I know that name and facial recognition is a big part of being elected to government office, but look at this guy. They dug him up.
That ain't no lie. Somebody did some kind of voodoo hex to keeping him alive. I'm telling you.
I have a question for you guys. Is there anything that Trump can do, or the Senate or the House or anything can do to start term limits? Like what needs to happen to start term limits on all these politicians that have been there for 100 years?
I think an executive order can do that.
Yeah. Well,
I debate so much on the term limits thing because I agree with it. But again, if you have a proper election process that you can trust, it's not being bullied by lobbyists and defense spending money and all of these people that continue to put them back in place. I don't understand why the Dan Crenshaws of the world keep getting reelected in Texas. I don't understand why the Mitch McConnells and the Lindsey Grahams. I can remember being there with Graham in South Carolina a few years ago when it was the election cycle. And I mean, the TV, we were watching football, and the thing consistently, every commercial was a Lindsey Graham election commercial. Mm-hmm. You know how much money it takes to go into all of that? And then you have people who just blindly go into the election box and just start checking off names that they recognize. That's the sad part about it, Tony. Is we do need term limits, but man, I wish we could just do it with our elections.
Yeah. I mean, I can see your point there, Chad, because obviously if you have somebody doing their job and doing it correctly the way the people voted them in to do, that's great and that's fine and dandy. But when you have politicians like Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham that have their heels so dug in there and there's nobody that could challenge them to get them out, I mean, it's a
and that's the
double-edged
thing.
sword there.
Nobody has the money chest to run against these people. That's your issue. That they could jump in it, but they'll run out of money, and Mitch is still going to get elected. Nobody has it there because they've been there for so long, just continuing to collect money, and that their war chest is huge.
Yeah,
so
it's a broken system.
Yeah, it is 100%.
It is a broken system.
That's
and again,
true.
when you got. Go ahead, Tony.
That viewer just said the presidency is limited. Why can't we have a 2-term limit for everybody?
Until the system gets fixed, and I don't think it's going to get fixed anytime soon. I think you need something like that. I mean, I really do. Yep. I mean, isn't California happy that this is Gavin Newsom's last term as governor? Oh, see, like here in Texas, and there's people out here who think Greg Abbott is this great governor here in Texas. He's squishy. He's a polling governor. Those of you who live in Texas that are true conservatives, you know exactly about Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott's going to run for a 4th term. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, you become I've always said that the 3 most powerful people in the universe are God, the President of the United States, and the governor of Texas. And when you got a dude who's going to his 4th term, he's going to be running 16 years of this state. That starts to get ridiculous, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But that's what they're going to do. I guarantee you California's glad to see Gavin Newsom go.
That's a fact.
Plenty to get into, but let me say, guys, before we go any further, did you know that there are American homeowners have $32 trillion in equity in their homes, and cyber criminals are targeting the growing scam, which is they're targeting that equity with a scam called house stealing. Now, they're not coming after your stuff. They're not coming to steal your money or your jewelry or your watches or any stuff like that. And so your house alarms, your doorbell cameras, all those things, they're not going to do anything to stop these crooks because they're not after your stuff. They're after your equity. So your home title is not being monitored. Scammers are going to transfer the title of your home into their name using a 1-page document they file at the county. And then they take out loans against your home, or they sell it behind your back, and suddenly you're not the homeowner anymore. The best way to protect your equity is with triple lock protection from our friends over at Home Title Lock. Check them out. Triple lock protection, 24/7 monitoring alerts of any changes, and God forbid if the worst happens, restoration services at no out-of-pocket cost to you. When's the last time you checked on your title? Probably never. You know why? Because I haven't done it either. We don't do things like that, but you can check on your home's title today and make sure you're not already a victim. Get a free title history report, a 30 30-day free trial of triple lock protection today by going to HomeTitleLock.com and then use promo code Graham Allen. You can go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code Graham Allen. You get that free history report. You'll get the 30-day free trial of the triple lock protection. We will have the link down in the description, and go check them out, HomeTitleLock.com. All right, boys.
And ladies and gentlemen, just to caveat this is a real thing, okay? Ask Kendra over here in this chat. This is a real thing. Like the title, you can't, if the title's messed up, you can't do nothing with your house. Like, I can't tell you, she's run into this before. Like, this is a real thing. So, like, wherever that is in the description, you need to click on it and at least check on your title to your home. Or when it comes time for you to sell, make some money, build somewhere else, you won't be able to do it. So you better double check.
While we have all those flying forgets around our head, let me remind you that yesterday in real time on a Sunday while you were watching the football playoffs, we were able to witness real-time FAFO global diplomacy on the part of Donald Trump when it came to the nation of Colombia.
Colombia.
So in a nutshell, we were sending repatriation flights from the United States to Colombia. A whole bunch of, as Trump says, illegal criminals. They were not allowed in the land of Colombia. He wouldn't let them. He wouldn't. Gustavo Petro, who's the president of Colombia, he's already unpopular amongst his people. He denied the flights the ability to land. And so Trump's out there on the golf course. He says, I've directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent, decisive retaliatory measures. Emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. You're like, what do we get from Colombia? Well, things like coffee. He goes, in 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%, a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. I mean, he ain't playing. He says these measures are just the beginning. We're gonna enhance custom and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. EEPA, Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be fully imposed. These measures, they're just the beginning. We're not going to allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of criminals that they force into the United States. Trump says no.
I love Trump, and I love all the tariffs he's putting on, and he's just dropping the hammer and everything. But Mr. President, please don't mess with my Colombian coffee. If you guys think I'm dark now, man, I would go freaking just psychotic, man.
Cuban coffee's better.
All right,
Trump just slapped down a tariff on Juan Valdez.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he posted this.
Exactly. All right, Royce. Throw it up.
Trump did that.
No,
throw it up.
Say anything.
Throw it up. Yeah, I have to.
You don't have to, Todd. You can resist.
No.
You can do it, Todd.
I'm not. No, throw it up.
We are in the find out portion of the program. Okay?
Thank you.
We are in the find out portion of the program. You want to mess with Trump. You want to poke the bear. You're poking the bear. Trump's like, nope. We're just going to sanction everything. Now Trump does this on like the tee box of hole number 3.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And everybody's losing their mind because they're like, oh, Trump's back on vacation. No, see, that's the thing about being Trump. He's not on vacation. He's in his backyard. Like that's his golf course, okay? So he's like there. Do you know how much work somebody can get done on a golf course? Do you know how much networking and conversation and deals can be made on the golf course? Y'all come play golf with me, man. We'll trade some ideas. And I'm just telling you, Trump gets it done. I mean, he's got a whole entourage of people out there, and he's shooting 75.
Exactly.
So, and he gets Colombian Gustavo Petro. He gets that dude to fold like a cheap suit in like an hour.
Yep.
An hour.
And if that doesn't work, y'all saw my disclaimer. I can say it now. So Colombia's not letting us fly our plane. We hearing reports that Mexico's trying to do the same thing. So my question is really simple: how much does a parachute cost?
Yeah. Toss him. Toss him.
I mean, doesn't TeamU sell them? We can get them discounted.
This guy folded in like an hour. He's now offering up his presidential planes. He's saying we'll comply with everything. And this is the strength that we needed in the White House. This is the strength that Joe Biden could never muster up. When all you say to someone like Iran is no, they're just going to smack you in the face over it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but when you put up actual consequences for the actions that we can't allow happen in America to American people, then you're going to get smacked right back.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why 77 or whatever, 75% of, 75 million Americans voted for this guy, because he was strong enough to say crap like this. Not because he actually wants to hurt Colombia. I'm sure he's going to come out tomorrow and be like, I love Colombia. We love Colombia.
Fabulous.
But you got to put things in place that scare them away from doing the things that we can't allow happen. And that's what this is.
Well, here's my problem. And this is why I said what I said. And I did say it to get a chuckle. But I want you to think about it this way. When our planes are landing and the illegals are getting off in their country of origin, that country is checking these people in. They are vetting these people and checking them in. We didn't get an opportunity to do that. So if we throw, 400 or 500 out of a plane with a parachute, then you can't check them. You don't know where they're going to land. They're just going to be running amok in your country, just like they did ours. So I'm all about the TMU parachute.
Well, how much does a parachute cost? That's
I don't know.
concern.
I don't care.
Because I don't want to pay for that.
Tariffs.
But it's probably cheaper than supporting all of them here in the country, Roy. So
there you go.
Well, but like it doesn't matter now. They're offering up the presidential planes. We can do it. It's all taken care of. Like we don't need to even think about Plan B. We just threaten them and they fold like a cheap suit, like Chad said.
This is the type deal. This is the type deal where I am enjoying. I'm thoroughly enjoying. I put this on X yesterday. This current "we're not to be effed with" diplomatic policy.
Love it.
You're just not going to mess with us. This is one of those deals where when you see this happen in real time, you realize how bad the old administration was. Because Joe Biden would have gone on an apology tour and sent him $100 million. I mean, first of all, he wouldn't have sent anybody back to Colombia. But he would have found a way to send them some money or something like that. I mean, this bowing down, it's so cool because it's not that hard to put your own country first. It's just not that hard to protect your own self-interest, and that's what Donald Trump is doing.
I think if Joe Biden was in office, the reverse actually would have happened. Joe Biden would have folded like a half-cooked pancake.
Oh, and
he would have been like, all right, well, I guess we'll keep them then.
100%. 100%.
And then everybody's blowing up because there was a misspelling of the word Colombia. Which I don't know, even yesterday, Royce and I were texting back and forth, and our phones, we were talking about Colombia, our phone was auto-correcting back to Columbia. But this is the kind of stuff the left melts down on, as if Trump tweets something out and says Colombia with a U instead of two O's. We get it, guys. We get it. Y'all
Chad,
are smarter than everybody else in the world.
What is the famous thing that Trump said, the famous late-night tweet that was just straight-up nonsense?
Covfefe.
Covfefe, that's what it was. Covfefe.
Covfefe. I mean,
we all get spell checks.
You know every conservatives everywhere. We woke up to Covfefe. Santa Trump had tweeted, and we woke up and we saw Covfefe, and we immediately thought the president was trying to send us a code. We got to put on our little Orphan Annie decoder rings. We got to open up the book of Ezekiel and try to figure out what the president's trying to say because he's sending us a message. He fell asleep that night when his Adderall wore off with his finger on the keyboard trying to type the word coverage, and we got Covfefe. We're still talking about it. And 12 days later, they passed the Covfefe Act. That's how powerful a typo is when they push your bill named after your typo through the House of Representatives. And I'm okay with the typo. I like the diplomacy. I like the politics. I like the policy. I like the putting America first. If you have a typo, Mr. President, we shall forgive you. Now, again, they're melting down over what has Trump, JoJo from Jers put on X this morning, what has Trump done for us? Tell me, MAGA, those of you who marry your cousins, what has Trump done for you since he's been in office? Quite a bit in the last 6 days.
Yeah, hell
Quite
no.
a bit in the last 6 days. I mean, we've got missing children that have been found. We've got deportations, the worst of the worst. I mean, Tom Homan, he got Dr. Phil deporting people.
I love that. I love that. That was so cool.
And last but not least for the show with this Colombian president, Todd, I will mute your mic if you start to go off the rails here. All right, you will be muted and kicked off the show.
Okay? I know sign language. I know sign language.
You better not use it. Actually, sign language is probably okay, but the internet did its thing, and we now find this out about this guy, which is just. I mean, predictable, kind of. If you're going against America in a way like this, something like this is going to come out. It's just straight up going to happen.
So there you go. Married Colombian President Gustavo Petro says he's not gay.
Nope.
After he's seen in Panama with a trans woman, Linda Yepes. hippus. Linda hippus. Apparently, Linda has a little hippus. He described it as being feminine and cute. That's a whole other story. That's the truth. That's a quote. I read it yesterday. He said it's female, but it's tiny and it's cute.
I bet you, though, Trump will be coming out with some late night tweets being like, he likes the boys.
Yeah.
He likes
now,
them.
When I sent this, now I don't know. It's supposedly the person in the blue dress right there. That's supposed to be the trans person. It looks like they're holding hands. Can't tell. I've never walked that close with a man in that fashion to where a blurry picture could be confused of me hand locking. But if you go to the other picture, that's his actual wife. I mean, that's like Macron in France. I don't like that's. Maybe he's got a type. Maybe he's got a type.
I think he actually requested that she get the Bieber haircut. I don't.
Y'all better move on. Y'all better move on.
Well, that's the end of the show, Todd. So we're done here.
Y'all better
Todd,
move
that's
on.
That's why I'm sitting silent over here because there's
Y'all
so much I
better
can
move
say. But I'm
on.
There's
like,
so much you shouldn't say.
Yeah, we got Royce.
Go to Twitter. Go to Twitter for that. If you want to hear what Todd has to say, here, Todd, I'll throw you a bone.
Yeah.
If you want to hear what Todd has to say, join the hot seat. Was it 2 p.m.?
Yeah, not today though. Tomorrow.
Oh,
Not tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Zuckerberg.
It's 5 p.m.
Royce Chamberlain, the Mark Zuckerberg of Dear America.
Nah, dude. Well, I'm trying to get us not Zuckerberg.
Listen, Todd. Here's your therapy. All you got to do is like I do right here to my side. I just keep the chat up, and I don't have to say it. I just read what everybody else is saying. And that right there, just thinking it out loud is bam.
Also, you can go to Todd's Twitter. I'm sure he'll be ranting about this. We want a full paragraph, half a book from Todd.
You got it.
And that's where you can see it.
The chat is undefeated. The chat is undefeated.
Absolutely.
And while we pull this last story up, Trump is out there on the golf course tweeting, I want to see some American flags. I want to see some American flags in the chat. The chat is undefeated. Come on, American flags. Let's see the emoji. There's Trump.
So pretty.
He's out there. And the difference between Trump, he's sitting in the golf cart. He's going to send out a little tweet. He's going to write down a birdie, and he's going to go to hole number 4. This is the difference between Trump and, say, Biden, who never knew his password to get into X, never had a clue, never tweeted his own anything. I guarantee you Joe Biden never tweeted a single thing.
I like how the left is losing their minds because Trump's playing golf, yet forget that Biden spent 40% of his presidency on vacation. Can you honestly, let's think about this for a second. Trump went to North Carolina, then he went to California, then he went to Vegas, and then he was up at 1 a.m. still answering questions and stuff. Could you imagine Joe Biden on that tour?
Again, as I said in the beginning, the media doesn't know what to do because Trump, he's in the office at 7 a.m. He's there at 2:30 in the morning. They can't keep up. The legacy media cannot keep up. The talking heads cannot keep up. So we're going to have a whole lot of Margarets out there melting down.
Hey, is it
and
weird?
It's going to be
Does
glorious
Trump look
to
like he's a
watch.
little bit? Does he look like he's a little bit slimmer? He used to have.
He's lost weight.
Yeah, he's lost some weight
for sure. But I want to point out, we talked about near the end of Joe Biden's presidency that he's getting up there in age, and by the time you get to a certain point, you start to just not care, and you just start to say things, and you start to put on the competitor's hat, and things, like Joe Biden was doing. I think Trump, not only is he been through a lot, that's probably lit a fire inside of him, most definitely. Not only is he just naturally fierce, right, and vicious when it comes to this stuff, but he is getting up there in age, and I think he's also fueling the fire. His age and that attitude where it's like, I don't care. It's a Sunday afternoon. I'm playing golf. It's like, no. Screw you. You're done. And just firing off tweets and getting things done. Donald Trump could have been on the beach like Joe Biden and still gotten this stuff done. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Where Joe Biden's passed out, about to die on the beach, someone had to rush over and stab him with the stinking his fuel. I don't know. But I think he's got the rage from everything that's happened in the past 8 years, plus his old age, plus him just being naturally fierce, is the reason why we get such a good president. And they can no longer complain about Trump golfing because of today.
Dude, all I can say is I will be 42 years old next month, and I wish that I had Trump's motor. I would love to have his nonstop go mentality. I ain't got it.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in our world, folks. That's the show, but we're going to get into some super chats in a minute. I'm looking over here. There are already the lies and the misinformation coming out on the left. I was just noticing J.B. Pritzker there in Illinois is saying that there's already immigration raids that are going on in elementary schools in Chicago. If you believe that, I got a piece of beachfront property I'll sell you in Arizona. Trump is targeting the worst of the worst, folks. Let those fears be allayed. He is going after the criminals, man, and we are watching it in real time. It's going to be fun. All right, we're going to go over to the Super Chat. Don't forget our sponsors, Birch Gold Wellness Company and Home Title Lock. Check them all out. The descriptions will be down in the links will be down in the description. Todd, why don't you pray for us, man, and let's get everybody out of here.
Let's do it. Let us bow. Father, we just thank you for a good weekend. Father, we thank that you go out ahead of us, that you already know the path that's laid out in front of us, Father, that you I just ask it for every one of us and on this show and in this chat, that you just be a light unto our feet, Father, that you go out ahead of us, that you open the doors that need to be open and close the ones that need to be closed and silence the critics that tell us what we can and can't do. And Father, that if there is somebody out there that is either watching the show or that is listening to the sound of my voice and they do not have a relationship with you, or maybe they have had a relationship with you, but they just don't feel like it's as strong as it used to be, Father, that you send your spirit and you meet that person and you hold and hug that individual and show them the love that only you, the true Father and creator of the universe, can. Father, we love you. We thank you for all that you do. And we ask all these things in your Son's holy name, and all God's people said.
Hey.
Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Let's do some super
All right.
How about I got to give a shout out. Graham's Bills lost. They played a good game, man.
They did.
I felt bad for old Josh Allen last night. I felt bad for him.
Well, they played against the refs too.
I wasn't betting against Pat Mahomes. Sorry.
Nah, it's hard to do, man. He's got the refs on his side.
Speaking of the Bills, Micah Pinata. I'll watch the show later. I'm at work. Just wanted to say for Graham's benefit, go Chiefs. Someone had to go down, and it just happened to be the Bills.
Well, I mean, I'll just say yesterday was a good day for me. My legs won't be broken by bookies today. Let's just put it that way.
It was not a good weekend for me and Tony. Apparently, we hired a high school football coach to coach the Cowboys next season.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, don't even started.
Lousy Larry, prayers for hope and peace for Graham and his whole family. Know we miss and love him in his time of grief. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
That's very kind, my brother. Rip Van Winkle. They can no longer say Trump is the worst president in history. He's been elected twice. They can't handle the truth. God bless to y'all and prayers to Graham and his family. Agreed. Thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you, brother. Tabby 6975. I raise my own chickens, and they are so much better than store-bought eggs. Support your local farmers. The Lord bless me, so I give them to friends and family for free. Where do you live? I want safety for America first. I do too.
Chickens are fun, man.
You ain't
Where
got
do
to
you
get
live?
many
I
chickens.
want chickens.
You get a couple chickens out there, you're going to have all the eggs you can handle.
Dude, you get a couple chickens and a rooster, and you've got an unlimited supply of chickens. Unlimited supply of chickens.
See, that's my problem. If I had a bunch of chickens, I like chickens more than I do eggs. I'd be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got to get them feeder rabbits.
Yeah. A treasured memory. Please say a prayer for me. I have my third interview for a job this afternoon. If I get this role, I will be able to leave California and move to Texas. Prayers to you, treasured memory. Prayers to you. God has already wrote it down. Miss Lovegood, at least when it comes to the aid to Israel, the money comes back to America in the form of military equipment purchases, thus creating jobs and all that. Correct me, though, if I'm wrong. I don't think you are, Miss Lovegood. I don't. We have a great, outstanding relationship with Israel, and it's financial both ways. Always has been, and I really think it always will be. Deb West 17, I love toxic masculinity. That's why I married a Marine. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
I like what Chad said the other day in his show. I mean, I don't believe in toxic masculinity, because if it's toxic, it's not masculine. If it's masculine, it can't be toxic.
That's right.
Very nice. Candy Highlander, as a veteran, I'm glad we got Pete in finally. We need leaders with a backbone. Have you guys seen anything about the UK Prime Minister interfering in our elections? Apparently, he wanted Kamala in. Well, the whole world did, because they want a weak America.
That's
like
right.
Even UK as allies, they want a weak America. You turn the lights off, cockroaches run everywhere. Well, lights are on now. So suck it. Alicia Victoria, 88. This one of two. During the halt of letting people in and deporting people, is Trump going to allow Border Patrol to be fully equipped? Boyfriend buddy works Border Patrol, and a lot of them don't have the proper vests.
The Border Patrol agents that I'm talking to that are good friends of mine, and we'll read the rest of this here, they're loving this situation.
Yes, yeah. Every other day I see videos of new vehicles, new Border Patrol vehicles going down the road, like on tractor trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
Marines
just tell your boyfriend help's coming. And you got 2,000 military members coming down there to help you too. So 2 of 2. Some have been waiting the whole duration of Biden to be fully equipped. Since some activity has happened, him along with others are using their own money instead of waiting. I understand that. It sucks. I understand that.
Last but not least, Banks.
In 2025, and respectfully, Graham, I am still waiting to buy an Old Gloria t-shirt. If you want, make it a limited edition shirt to buy at first hopeful Dear America party. And so Chad doesn't know this story, and I don't know if Royce does either.
Oh, I know it.
All right, yeah.
He's told it a few times on the show. I think, Chad,
do you know this story, right?
I don't think I do.
Yeah, so
maybe we should tell it after the show.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll tell you after the
it
show. Yeah, we'll tell you.
I mean, my mother's name is Gloria, so we got.
Graham heard some stuff that he shouldn't have heard when he was a teenager from Paul.
Yeah. Got another one that just popped up. Toss it up there.
All right. Kill you. 143. All right, cool.
Of course, you pronounced it that way.
No, I mean, why not? Please pray for my son's friend and teammate Jackson Drum. He injured his spine in a hockey game Friday night. A sports mom's worst nightmare. Trying to get as many prayers going for him and his family. Yes, prayer for health.
I'm pretty sure
safety.
it's pronounced Kilu.
Yeah,
I like kill you. It sounds better to me.
Before we sign off, a lot of the viewers are calling me out for saying that it was the refs' fault. I respect the Chiefs. They have great players. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Andy Reid, but they're a great team. They don't need the help from the refs. I saw 5 calls yesterday that should have been against them that went against the Bills. It's just, come on now. There's just it's the NFL is getting so rigged, and I'm just saying for the Chiefs, it's getting rigged all over the place, and it's a horrible thing to see. So,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with this. 2,000 soldiers isn't enough. We need 200,000 to scare the cartel with invasion force. And I will cover this tomorrow. I was going to wait till tomorrow morning to tell you guys, but I literally on the hot seat tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. Central, 6 Standard, I have a investigative reporter that is embedded in the cartel, with the cartel, and reports on everything that they do. So join the hot seat tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, and I will say that one catch down there on the 5-yard line that they gave to the Chiefs, that looked like a Bills catch to me. That looked like a Bills interception on that deal.
I'm saying there was, I tell you.
Well, being a lifelong Alabama fan, every time we win, everybody blames the refs. So I don't. Whatever.
Well, you know what? If the shoe fits, Todd.
Todd, what's that saying?
It's not our fault. Y'all didn't pay them enough. It's not our fault.
All right.
What's that saying that everybody says? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me 3 times, pay the refs more money. Quit complaining.
Look at all these forgets floating around our head.
It is just constant all the time.
All right, boys, let's jump out of here. My show, of course, 2 o'clock, 1 Central, right here. You can watch it. You can head over to the Chad Prather Rumble as well. Make sure that you visit our sponsors. Tony, tell them about you. Tell them what you got, baby, and tell them goodbye.
What I got is...
What you got? Tell me some things. Promote something, Daddy.
Promote something. I will tell you this. Well, I'm going to promote my family because this last weekend I had my family over. I cooked that soup that Todd loves. That zuppa
the soup that I can't. Yeah, the soup that I can't pronounce. It's so good.
Yeah, I cooked some of that. We had a really nice time yesterday with my family. They came over. We had a nice visit with the baby. Baby's 4.5 months old now, so that was great and wonderful. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Love it. Todd, what you got?
That's it, man. We're going to have fun tomorrow. Check out the hot seat. Make sure to check out Chad. And listen, right now, just on Rumble alone, there's 7,500 people in here. Listen, on your way out, all right, this is free, doesn't cost you anything. On your way out, we ask you to hit the like button. Doesn't cost you nothing. Hit that like button. Do us a favor. It keeps us in the algorithm, keeps us up. Also, if you're not following this channel, you need to click the follow button as well. So here's my ask for all of you guys. like button, follow button on your way out. And as always, you know I love you, you know I miss you, and you know I mean it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's a good point. I will say, and that's something I failed to do today. Graham's going to get mad at me because we didn't keep yelling like and share, but like and share. Hit the like button. All right, Royce, how about it, baby?
I'm seeing 8,100 people on the Rumble right now, and that's even better. And you know what? How cool would it be if 8,100 people followed me on my X at Royce Chamberlain,
at Royce Chamberlain,
or on my Instagram also at Royce Chamberlain. You should check me out there. And I will be on Chad's show at 2 p.m. Excited for that, and I love you guys. We're all saying a prayer for Graham. I hope you guys do too. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, we agree. Everybody's praying for Graham and Alyssa and the rest of the Allen family. And I want to encourage everybody. You can go to watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. Join my show today at 2/1 Central. This week I'll be in Austin, Texas, Cap City Comedy Club. I will be in at the Hippodrome Theater in Waco, Texas, Friday night. And then I will be in Granbury, Texas at New Granbury Live on Saturday night. Get your tickets, watchchad.com. Come see me live. It's a lot of fun. Guaranteed. But check us out today, the Chad Prather Show, 2 o'clock, 1 Central. Praying for Graham, praying for our country, praying for you guys. We love you. God bless you. We will talk to you next time. Bye.
Deuces.